Moments ago, prior to our national anthem, a moment of silence over the passing of Nelson Mandela, 95 years old, an inspiration to so many. Our thoughts and prayers to his many friends and family and those who he changed lives all over the world. Mike Smith, 54 years young, out of Daytona Beach, Florida, in his 6th season as Falcons head coach. They've been better than 505 years in a row. That will come to an end this year. They've been in the playoffs for the last 5 seasons as well. And for Mike McCarthy, he said it earlier this week, Brian, they need to win out to have any hope of trying to advance onto the playoffs for what would be for him 6 times in his 8 years and 6 times in the last 7 years.
You look at the schedule of those other teams in the NFC North. This is doable for them, but obviously they've got to have the win here at home against a 3-9 Atlanta Falcon team.
8 degrees, wind chill below 0. Winds right now around 8 miles per hour, but gusting anywhere to 15 to 20 throughout the afternoon. It is snowing. The frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Packers won the toss, chose to defer to the second half. And Jaquiz Rodgers from the 5-yard line. Out across the 20 up to the 22-yard line. A little after 8 o'clock this morning, they had the field covered. Peters trying to keep everything warm and dry. But sooner or later, Brian, as David Strupp, who's celebrating a birthday today, our cameraman, was up underneath that tarp.
He just went in there to get warm. he didn't need a tape. He's like, that's pretty warm in there. I want to go where those heaters are blowing.
So Matt Ryan on at quarterback in this drive. The first of the game starts from the 22-yard line. Little delay, hands it off to Steven Jackson, and he picks up maybe 2. Matt Ryan last week, boy, did he take a beating. They ended a 5-game losing streak. He was sacked 6 times in the game against Buffalo, hit 9 times. And you see his numbers against Green Bay.
Well, they always talk about his leadership ability, and it was tested this year, and everybody around him says he has risen to the challenge. He's been a true leader through a difficult situation.
Jackson once more, finally healthy again as Steven Jackson. Last couple of weeks has carried the ball almost 40 times after having that thigh injury in week 2 against Arizona.
Well, they got rookie Schrader, who's going to see a lot of action here on the backside. Patrick DeMarco, you're going to see a lot of 2-back with Atlanta, and Jaquiz Rodgers, obviously a balance to Steven Jackson. And what a joy it is to watch Tony Gonzalez, a future Hall of Famer, as he closes out his career.
37 years young as Gonzalez out of Torrance, California. 13-time Pro Bowler and one of the game's all-time great players. Put it down in 5. And that's Roddy White, and he has enough for a first down, crossing the 33-yard line. White, another Falcon who's battled through injuries the entire year, had 20 receptions until last week. All season, he had 10 for 143 yards in their win over Buffalo last week.
And that's been the issue for Atlanta with everybody in and out of the lineup. Obviously, Julio Jones down for the year. Roddy White in and out for a bit. Tony Gonzalez has not played in every game.
Jackson tries to bounce it to the outside. Tramon Williams comes up to make the stop after a gain of almost 4.
The Packers defense stopped the run up the middle. Ryan Pickett and A.J. Hawk. Clay Matthews is going to bring the pressure on the outside, and Tramon Williams may match up a lot today with Roddy White.
Defense 24th ranked overall in the NFL, 26th against the run. Neither one of these teams has done well trying to defend the run. Roddy White, given enough room, makes his second catch, and both of them good enough for a first down up to the 45-yard line.
Well, everybody talks about, you deal with the cold. This is an Atlanta team that plays indoors. Matt Ryan played at BC. He grew up in Philadelphia. but he's been down in Atlanta for a while, Tom, and I don't know how that thins out the blood. I know you moved from the Midwest all the way out to Arizona. That kind of spoils you a little bit.
And then back to the cold.
Yeah, it's a transition.
Rodgers his first carry, and he's up to midfield. A gain of 4 on 4th down. What about coaching when it's this cold? Do you ever hear anybody talk about that? Any effect at all?
It is, and coaches will tell you, no, I'm focused on it, but I tell you what, particularly if you're calling the plays from the sideline, it affects you. It numbs the mind. I'm cold up here, and we got a little bit of protection. It does affect you in terms of your thought process. You're just trying to stay warm and get your job done at the same time.
Of course, Mike McCarthy is the play caller. And his team gets the football, but this is the opening drive of the game and a good start for the Falcons. Roddy White for the 3rd time, and for the 3rd time, it is another 1st down reception to the Green Bay 42. You remember the coldest game you coached in?
Remember, I was in Minneapolis for 8 years. You know, obviously in Baltimore, going to a place like Pittsburgh.
Minneapolis, you're inside.
Yeah, but still, that means I was in Green Bay every year. But I tell you what, this is going to surprise you. San Diego, California. I was coaching in college at the first Holiday Bowl. I was dressed like you would in San Diego. That fog came in. It darn near killed me. Literally, I was freezing.
You're the first time it's ever used cold in San Diego at the same time. Rodgers his 2nd carry and picks up 2, coming up to make the stop all the way from his strong safety position. Morgan Burnett having a solid year. He was in on all 81 defensive snaps on that Thanksgiving Day game against Detroit. Had 11 tackles. Recovered a couple of fumbles. One of them he ran in from a yard for a touchdown.
That was an amazing game. They forced 4 turnovers by the Detroit Lions and lost.
Jackson down to the 35-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 2. Talk about Steven Jackson. Finally healthy in these last couple of weeks. Has run for better than 150 yards. He had a season-high 84 last week and 2 rushing touchdowns in the overtime win over the Bills.
Well, when Atlanta has been at their best over the last couple of years, you remember they had Michael Turner, big physical back. He tailed off last year. They knew they needed to replace it. They got Steven Jackson. Hasn't quite gone as they'd liked.
Out of the I formation, play action. And Ryan looking towards the corner of the end zone, and it's incomplete. And an eye on the rookie Darius Johnson. So on 4th and 2, do you even think about going for it here? You're 3-9 on the year.
You know what? Given the elements, you would, because obviously if they're going to deteriorate as this field has a problem, looks like they're running on the punt team at this point, but you couldn't fault Mike Smith if he thought about going for it on 4th and 2, particularly since you've crossed the 50.
It appeared as though Mike was thinking about it for a little while. That punt team was slow to get out on the field, so now Matt Bosch should have punted away. The rookie Micah Hyde, who's run one back this year already for a touchdown, will call for a fair catch at the 10. So Matt Flynn hoping for a better outing today than his first start on Thanksgiving. He has the ball when we return.
Airlines. Find our fares online only at Southwest.com.
Green Bay with the football, and of course, they're still without that man, Aaron Rodgers. Look where they were. Winners of 5 of 7, sitting atop the NFC North. 15 touchdowns for Aaron Rodgers. Since then, they've used 3 other starting quarterbacks without a win in longer than a month and a half. Only 2 touchdowns against 7 interceptions. Flynn making his 2nd straight start. Hands it off to the rookie Eddie Lacy, and he gains 1 on 1st down.
Well, for the Packers, they've got their own rookie tackle playing, and David Bakhtiari. They too have a fullback in John Kuhn. We've seen it already. They're pounding away. And Jordy Nelson, James Jones, kind of the last 2-man standing of a deep wide receiver corps that's down to these 2 guys.
They're without Jermichael Finley. They're very talented tight end as well. Went down with a neck injury. It's nice to see him up and moving around. Flynn all day to throw. Now takes off running. And slides down at the 15-yard line. That'll be a gain of 4. It brings up a 3rd down and 5. Atlanta defensively 26th overall, 30th against the run, 20th against the pass.
Well, they're all about finding out about these young players. These are all rookies with Goodman and Warlow in the front seven, and their first 2 picks in the draft, Trufant and Alfred in the back end.
Hey, rock.
4-man rush, and Flynn right on the button his first throw, and finds Jermichael Finley's fill-in, Andrew Corliss, who makes his 18th reception of the year.
Well, the Packers went to a no-huddle, a quick no-huddle on 3rd down, and they ended up just getting a flat route coming out here in the flat, kind of slipping out underneath the curl route. Either got picked off or a blown assignment, converted for the 3rd down.
A 15-yard gain back in the hands of this very talented rookie runner, Eddie Lacy. Despite missing nearly 2 full games, Lacy's 822 rushing yards, the most among all rookies in the NFL. In fact, he is 9th among all backs in the NFL with those rushing yards.
I tell you what, you sit this young man, he is cut. This guy has got some strength upon strength, and you can see it in his running style.
Back in his hands. Comes back the other way, a first down and then some, still on his feet, and there's some of that brawn you were talking about from Eddie Lacy.
Just a powerful runner. Just what you think in terms of the Green Bay Packers. You're going to see him cut it back through here. Once he has the cut off on the strong side, nice feet, and then watch him lower those shoulders and get another 4, 5, 6 yards after contact.
11-yard gain for Lacy. He'll get it again. And that'll be a gain of almost 5. We'll call it 4. 2nd down upcoming. First possession of the day for the Green Bay Packers, and we're better than midway through this opening quarter.
You know, a guy is strong, Tom, when he comes in, and I'm looking at this guy, and I'm going, well, how much do you lift, man? He goes, whatever they put on there. That's strong.
What's the way you were back in your days at BYU?
Whoa, boy, you're going back now.
45.
Flynn sacked. Back at the 46-yard line. The pocket just completely collapsed around him.
Yeah, just the classic coverage sack. He's looking down the field, and it just slowly starts to shrink around him. He's got no place to go. The no huddle, I tell you what, Mike McCarthy used to coach for Mike Nolan, the defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons. The thing he talked about was how creative Mike Nolan is. This is his way of calming down some of those multiple looks of the Atlanta Falcons.
3rd down and 9. Flynn, good protection this time. Now has to run out of it. And he will be denied a first down up to the 49-yard line. A couple of times he's dropped back. He's had some time to throw, but just can't find an open receiver.
That time we talked about the multiple looks.
Pass, illegal contact, number 55 defense. Wow. Penalty, automatic first down.
How about that? The rookie out of Delaware, Paul Warlow.
Right in here, boy, this is such a huge error. You get a team off on the road on 3rd down, and at the very late, he didn't need to do that. He wraps up on Jordy Nelson, not knowing where the ball is.
The 5-yard penalty reinforced from the end of the run.
Warlow almost 80 tackles in his last 5 games. He has joined Jesse Tuggle this year as the only 2 Falcons in history to have 15 or more tackles at least twice in a season, but a big mistake right there on a drive that should have been over. James Starks down to the 41-yard line. Of course, Starks now in his 4th year out of Buffalo, had the great playoff game, Brian, you may remember, a number of years ago. And actually, when Lacy was hurt early in the year against Washington, he had a 132-yard game, but as has been the case the last couple of years, hurt again.
They've got a decent stable of backs. Throw in Khalil Bell, who's not up today. The Packers obviously had to address the running game and have done just that.
Catch made very close to a first down by Ryan Taylor. Only his 5th catch of this season. And depending on the spot, he may be just short. Maybe a half a yard short. And you saw right there, Matt Flynn says, all right, let's huddle up.
That's a different call. Obviously, the no huddle continues to go. And this is simply on the outside. Got to know where the down markers are, but there's not much you can do here. This is good open field tackling on the part of Warlow. They rehuddle up to get a more orchestrated 3rd and inches call.
They've got Starks in the backfield rather than Lacey, an extra offensive lineman and tight end. And that is Starks for a first down. Those powerful legs take him down to the 31.
And they revert right back into the no huddle. This does surprise me a little bit because Mike McCarthy talked about maybe simplifying things for Matt Flynn, that he came in, maybe tried to do a little too much, but obviously he has his knowledge of this offense is kicked back in.
12th play of the drive. Lacey looking for a little bit of room, and boy, for a big man, he's able to squirt through a very small space and takes it down to the 26-yard line. That's a good first down run by Lacey.
Yeah, we talk about dealing with the cold, and the Packers are used to it. This kid went to Alabama. He was funny. He said, as long as my hands are warm, I'm okay. I said, really? Just your hands? That's all that needs to be warm. Yep, that's all I need is my hands.
In and out of the hands of Quarles. Hard to tell whether the defender, Brian, got a hand on it. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I think William Moore was able to adjust, and just right there, I don't know if he got a hand on it, but he certainly affected it as he got his hands on Quarles just as the ball got to him.
So a 3rd down and 6. And you see the Atlanta defense having a hard time getting off the field on 3rd down. Dead last in the NFL. Blitz coming. Green Bay picks it up. And a good throw, and that's James Jones for a first down just inside the 20. That's a well-thrown ball by Matt Flynn.
Just a simple out route. You're going to see Jones right here in the slot. Again, he knows where the chains are here. Gets that good depth in case he has to come back to catch the ball and makes it a first down. You know, remember now, last time we saw Matt Flynn in this stadium, he had 6 touchdown passes against the Detroit Lions to finish the game 2 seasons ago.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Packers had 12 men break the huddle there.
Well, and that come the no huddle. They're trying to keep up and put pressure on Atlanta and cross their wires a little bit about who was in and who was out.
Yeah, we were here that day. Of course, Matt Flynn was probably thinking about that day when he went into that Thanksgiving Day start against the same opponent, different venue, and didn't go quite as well.
It seemed like 2 lifetimes ago, actually 3 lifetimes ago, from going from obviously here to Seattle down to Oakland, now back in Green Bay.
First and 10 becomes first and 15. Flynn sets up the screen to Lacey. Inside the 20, inside the 15, and down inside the 10, and that's a first down for Eddie Lacey.
Nice job by the offensive line. You're going to see the center, Evan Dietrich Smith, kind of leak out late, just bowls over a linebacker and finds somebody else, and the strength after the catch that you see in Lacey. This guy is a complete back.
A 16-yard gain on that reception. It's first and goal from the 8-yard line. Lacey trying to slip a tackle and can't do it. Back to the line of scrimmage. Corey Peters there to wrap him up.
Talk about Lacey being a complete back, Tom, when we sat and visited with him again. Just a very engaging young man. Biggest thing he had to get used to was pass protection. Wasn't called on to do it a lot in Alabama. And I said, well, how did you learn so quickly? He said, because I messed it up a whole bunch in training camp, and you better learn. If you're going to play on this team, you got to be able to protect A-Rod, Aaron Rodgers.
Right now, it's Matt Flynn he's trying to protect on a second down and goal from the 7-yard line. And Flynn looking around, dumps it off to Lacey, sniffing the end zone. And did he get there? No signal given. Apparently he is just shy.
Well, he was about the 4th or 5th guy in the progression here. You can see Matt Flynn scanning. Touchdown to check down. Not there, not there. All right, check down. Warlow does a nice job. He misses right there. Excuse me. Not quite sure. I think it was William Moore that came up and kept him out of the end zone.
Take a look at this drive, chewing up over 9 minutes. And the final play of the opening quarter is a touchdown for Eddie Lacy. And now the lead. With that touchdown, Eddie Lacy has tied the Packers' single-season rookie record for rushing touchdowns with the great John Brockington. Thomas Deku is the injured Atlanta Falcon. So that's the end of the opening quarter. 7-0 or 6-0 Packers. Fox NFL Sunday continues in a moment. Thomas Deku on his way to the locker room. And this point after by Mason Crosby is good to make it a 7-0 Green Bay lead at the end of the opening quarter. We'll keep you posted if we receive any word on Deku.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Domino's. Oh, yes, we did. By the new Windows. One experience for everything in your life. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
A very impressive drive for the Green Bay Packers. And, Brian, I would imagine that is a huge confidence lift after the way things went for Green Bay on offense on Thanksgiving.
And the way they did it with no huddle and Matt Flynn orchestrating the no huddle, having this been just his 3rd start.
Ball blown off the tee. It is a frigid day here in Green Bay. You saw the thermometer there a moment ago, reading right now 11 degrees, but that does not include the wind chill, which is well below 0. But I don't know if you can find an empty seat in this place.
That's amazing. These folks, I tell you what, it is a cold day. They've been out here all day long, better than 78,000 with this new upper deck is incredible. It just adds an element. I was up there yesterday. That's a long way up there.
Rodgers from the 5-yard line out across the 20 and it's wrapped up right there by M.D. Jennings. Now, if you're wondering how they keep this field so warm, this is underneath the stadium. It really is an amazing place.
It's like the innards of a nuclear submarine.
3 of the 12 boilers in that room specifically for the field. They heat water to temperatures of nearly 120 degrees. 4 pumps sending it from the boilers to pipes 12 inches below the field. That's why you saw some of the heat coming off of the grass. The system runs 24 hours a day during the winter. Jackson takes a pitch and a big run across the 35, and Steven Jackson all the way up to the 44-yard line.
Well, they've been pounding away at the inside, so you kind of knew it was all of a sudden just going to show up outside of the bunch, pitch this thing to the outside. Nice job being walled off by the receivers and tight ends. And then Steven Jackson, the open field. This is a big man, like we said, 8 straight seasons of better than 1,000 yards. He's not going to get there this year necessarily. He barely has 400. But this is a big, powerful back.
We'll give it to him twice in a row. And a gain of 3 on first down. We invite you to join us. Fox UFC Saturday returns next weekend. Demetrius Johnson defends his World Flyweight Championship against Joseph Benavidez. That's live on Fox. Coverage begins Saturday 8 Eastern only on Fox.
They ought to do one of those outside like this.
Be good.
Now that would be worth the price of admission.
Those are real men. They're outside fighting in this kind of way. course, you might recommend they do that in San Diego. There's DeMarco out of the backfield, and he's close to a first down. Let's check in along the frigid sideline with Laura Oakman.
Tom, you guys are talking about and showing how they heat this field, which we of course know, but one of the things that it does, it's good in terms of making sure that this field doesn't freeze over, but the players also complain that it really softens it. Tony Gonzalez came out pregame and said it's horrible weather-wise and horrible field condition-wise, but he said, I don't want to complain. I finally get to check off playing on the frozen tundra in the snow before I retire.
How about that? Great stuff, Laura. Thank you. 3rd down and 2. And they give it to Jackson, and he has more than enough for a first down to the 43-yard line. Tony Gonzalez leading the way.
Well, it's kind of as advertised because these teams are pounding away in the run. Of course, Green Bay ran it 11 times in that 18-play drive, that scoring drive. And here Atlanta's already got up to 9 carries here in just the first quarter.
And when's the last time you would be able to say that when Green Bay plays Atlanta? Two teams that have relied upon outstanding quarterback play from Rodgers and Ryan. There's a slant and the catch made down to the 35-yard line by Roddy White. Laura, you have some injury updates for us.
A couple in terms of the Falcons defense. We saw Thomas Deku go into the locker room. Not a surprise. They're evaluating him for a head injury. Also, Sean Weatherspoon is questionable with a shoulder injury. They've been examining his shoulder on the sideline. His return is questionable. Losing him yet again would be a huge loss for this defense.
He missed 7 games already this year. This is his 4th game back. He's been bothered with a bad knee. Rodgers, and that doesn't fool anybody. He lost a couple of yards. It'll bring up 3rd down, and we'll call it 3.
They were looking forward to having Weatherspoon back with this young defense that's in there now. You want a good look at him, but you like that veteran presence as well with the young backers like Warloo and Bartu. Give them kind of a veteran mix in there. This is a young defense. I'm talking about Atlanta's when they get back on the field that's going to continue to be tested after that first drive.
Four-man rush. Ryan, great protection, and lays it in there across the middle and inside the 10. It's Drew Davis, and he will get to the end zone. Davis, his 2nd touchdown reception of the year, and they're a point after away from tying it up.
Great protection by the offensive line here, giving him all the time he needed. I'm talking about Matt Ryan here, and he's just going to come out of this little mini bunch look. This took a while to develop. He chips a little bit, chips, releases, works to the inside. That's a long time for Matt Ryan to hold on to the ball, and it's what made that play.
And of course, he chipped their main pass rusher in Clay Matthews there. Bryant ties the game at 7. Drew Davis, he wouldn't think about the Lambeau Leap, would he, Brian?
Not. He'd live to regret it. And he goes, no. I don't see the Atlanta jerseys up there.
So after the 18-play, 90-yard drive, a touchdown drive for Green Bay, Atlanta answers right back to tie it up.
How many times do we talk about a team being able to respond to adversity, respond to a score with your own 78-yard drive in these conditions? Very impressive by Atlanta.
Matt Bosher, an announcer that will be handled by Hyde from the 8-yard line. And he's up to the 23. So we've seen a real Lambeau Leap, and then the head fake Lambeau Leap.
Game is sponsored by Ford. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more.
Welcome back to Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Those guys came ready.
Well, you better come ready. You develop a healthy respect for the elements in this part of the world, or you don't last very long.
7-7 game, a little more than 4 minutes into the second quarter, and sack is Flynn. The ball is loose, and the Falcons have recovered it. William Moore blasting Matt Flynn from behind.
I tell you what, Matt Flynn did not realize it was coming from the blind side. We talked about Mike Nolan dialing up a lot of different looks. Brought William Moore off the backside. You're going to see it right on the top of the screen. I don't think Matt Flynn was aware that he was coming unblocked.
Malachi Goodman, the first one there to dive on top of it.
You can see Eddie Lacy was trying to get to the backside. We had a rule: abandon the fake if it at all is going to compromise your ability to protect. They wanted a little play fake, but once he saw William Moore on the line, he should have forgotten the play fake and gone right back to William Moore.
So just like that, back on the field, Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons offense. After the turnover by Flynn, and Jackson dropped behind the line of scrimmage on first down, and that's A.J. Hawk, their leading tackler, and he's only 20 tackles away from becoming the Green Bay Packers all-time leading tackler. Boy, that's saying something.
And it was interesting. A.J. Hawk talked about he's getting at the stage in his career where he needs to slim down a little bit, and that's a good move. Remember, Ray Lewis went on a juicing diet the latter part of his career because you just can't carry the same weight at this age.
Jason Snelling chokes into the Falcons backfield, and he has the ball off his fingertips, and he brought it back in. It looked like Brad Jones had a chance to take it away momentarily. Snelling stayed with it. That's a nice catch.
Yeah, I thought he had lost the ball. Snelling has good hands. We've seen them use him in a lot of different ways, even flank him out in a receiver position. This is a nice, big, little play because this had right now Jones is thinking, I'm getting me a turnover, and Snelling pulled it right back in.
Third down and 9. That'll be a first down reception inside the 2-yard line made by Roddy White. Oh, to have Roddy White healthy again if you're Matt Ryan.
Oh, just the go-to guy. And again, under these elements, Roddy White, people don't realize how big a physical receiver he is. Just a stop route, against Shields. Excellent timing between Roddy White and Matt Ryan. That thing was out of Ryan's hands before Roddy White had even turned to look for the ball.
First and goal from just outside the 2-yard line on the I formation. They fake it to Jackson, and the touchdown reception to Tony Gonzalez. And the Falcons have their first lead of the afternoon. They take advantage of the takeaway. And Tony Gonzalez keeping that football. Normally he goes up and dunks that thing.
Well, he's holding on to everything. They motioned away. He's on the end here and just isolate him one-on-one. A little bit of a slam release and then out into the flat. Morgan Burnett was reading run all the way. It was too late to jump on Tony Gonzalez once he had released.
Point after down by Matt Bryant out of the hold of Matt Bosher, and it is good. It started with William Moore putting the big hit on Matt Flynn. Recovered by Atlanta, and after the big third down catch by White, they find Gonzalez, a 7-point Falcons lead. 208th consecutive game with a reception for Tony Gonzalez. This one a touchdown. The last time he played in an NFL game without a catch with Kansas City on the 26th of November, the year 2000.
I love the fact that we get to watch a big guaranteed Hall of Famer still at his best in these circumstances.
Good return by the rookie Micah Hyde, and it's good field position for Green Bay.
Is sponsored by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Same way on the other side.
Welcome back to Lambeau Field. We just saw Tony Gonzalez score a touchdown and take that football and keep it. He is keeping every one of those balls, but not for himself. He said you would not believe the requests he's had from friends, family, teammates, and opposing players asking for mementos, for footballs, for jerseys, for shoes. He said, I'm saving everything for everyone. I said, anything for yourself. He said, I have 3 things. My first catch, my 100th touchdown, and the ball where I set the record for most receptions from tight ends. Those are the only 3 things he's keeping. Tom, I said, anything else you want to make sure you do these remaining games? And he said, yes, enjoy every moment of it.
Indeed. Laura Oakman, thank you very much. 14-7. Atlanta in front, and Flynn comes out throwing, and that did not fool Atlanta defensively. That's a good play made by Desmond Trufant.
We have to be impressed with the Atlanta Falcons, the way they've responded. You know the Packers are used to teams coming in here and not handling the elements well. They know the Atlanta Falcons are here to play. That's got to shake them just a little bit.
Second down, and Jones on the reception. Trufant on the coverage. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4. As we're under 8 minutes to go here in the second quarter.
And it's interesting that Green Bay goes in and out of the no huddle. Like most teams, they will huddle on 3rd down. You want a more orchestrated call. If they're able to convert here, we'll see if they want to get back into the no huddle pace.
Both teams very good so far offensively on 3rd down, converting 4 of 5. And this 3rd down and 4, it's Flynn. Steps up wide open and delivers to Jordy Nelson to the 38-yard line, and that's a 1st down. Throw a little bit high, but Nelson is almost 6 feet 4 inches tall. He'll go get it.
Well, if you're going to throw it high to someone, Jordy Nelson's the one to do it. This guy goes up the ball, all 6'3" of them. Kind of the go-to guy for the receiving corps from Matt Flynn right now.
What a hit. And yet Lacy still does not go down. How does one man hit another man that hard and he doesn't fall down? That was Zeke Mata who came up and put the hit on Lacy.
Well, the mistake here, it's way too high. This guy is too powerful, upper and lower body. You're going to need some help. That's actually excellent form tackling by Mata.
Second down and 10. And they find Jordy Nelson, who tiptoes along the sideline, and he has a 1st down to the 25-yard line, and we tiptoe to Los Angeles and send it to Joel Klatt.
Well, how about Nick Foles, Tom? No one can stop Nick Foles except for the weather. His first interception of the season. 19 TDs he had thrown, now his first interception, and if he had just one more touchdown, he would have tied Peyton Manning for the best start to the season with 20 touchdowns and no interceptions. There's no score in that ball game, fellas.
Well, what a story Nick Foles has been indeed. 1st down, and is that a catch on the far sideline by Corliss? It is. Great coverage by Mata, but the big fella Andrew Corliss went up and got it.
This is a spectacular catch. He's got the guy all over his face mask with the presence of mind. Look at him work his feet, tippy-toe his feet, and maintain control through the process. Outstanding catch by the tight end Corliss.
Lacy tripped up by Warlow inside the 15 down to the 13, and that'll be another Packer 1st down.
And here in the red zone, they continue with the no huddle. A lot of teams will break that down once you get inside the 20 for a more orchestrated call. This shows a lot of faith in Matt Flynn with his knowledge of this offense.
No running that time. Lacy will bring up 2nd down and 9 for the Packers, trying to tie it up. 5 minutes to play until halftime. Ninth play of the drive after the good return by Micah Hyde, and Flynn to throw it. Catch and run out of bounds at the 15-yard line is Ryan Taylor. Another excellent play by Mata, who's getting a lot of playing time here today after the injury to Thomas Deku.
Well, they've got 5 and 6 rookies on this defense for the Atlanta Falcons that are having to step up into starting roles.
Mata's been bothered by an injured hand and getting a chance to play. Playing well. 3rd down. Flynn in trouble and sacked all the way back to the 25-yard line. Warlow along with Corey Peters. And that turns this into a rather lengthy field goal try, especially in these conditions.
Well, we've seen it a couple times. No place to go. Good coverage down the field. Matt Flynn waiting for something to break open. Nothing there. You come back on the backside. 2-man combination. They're 3 over 2. Might have gotten the ball off a little early underneath, but did not see Boykin underneath by the time the sack had gotten home.
26 out of 30 on the year in field goals is Mason Crosby. This from 40 yards out. Brent Dude, Tim Mastay, and the kick is good by Mason Crosby. Good game here at Lambeau Field. Falcons in front, 14-10.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know that I want to hear from my wife and daughters that this is not a good look. I got that, but I don't care because it is cold and we got to do everything we can to stay warm up here. These two teams are staying warm. They look pretty good.
It's been a good game. I mean, I know the first thing a lot of people say, Atlanta obviously not the kind of year we're used to seeing from the Falcons. Only 3 wins all year long, been in the playoffs for the last 5 years. Green Bay hanging on, but realizing how important this game is, and both are competing.
Well, I tell you, Green Bay now at 5-6-1, they're right there. Because you look at the schedule for Detroit and Chicago, it is not easy. Detroit's going to have its hands full today with Philadelphia. Chicago on Monday night with Dallas. So, you know, it may not sound like it at 5-6-1, but they really are right in the hunt.
Atlanta will get the football one more time here in this second quarter. 3:39 to play until halftime. And Rodgers from his own end zone. Tackled at the 21-yard line. So we'll see if Matt Ryan can go to work. All 3 timeouts remaining. 3:33 to play in the opening half.
American Idol's looking for the next superstar. Join Jennifer Lopez, Keith Urban, Henry Connick Jr. along with Ryan Seacrest as they search for the best new talent. American Idol's most exciting season yet begins Wednesday, January 15th on Fox.
How about that?
Hey, we said the UFC guys should be in here. They should do American Idol in here. With the snow and everything.
That'd really
It'll add a whole new dimension to it.
Yeah. So American Idol, one of the categories would be ice fishing. Obviously, throwing the ball has not been a problem for either quarterback in this game. Only 2 incompleted passes by these 2 quarterbacks combined through nearly a half. And that should have been completed, as that one just goes right through the hands of Tony Gonzalez.
Well, Matt Ryan's had a good day in no small part because they're running the ball so well. There are a lot of open lanes. They're having to bring everybody to stop the run. A lot of one-on-one on that last one on the touchdown. Had lots of protection by his offensive line and a wide-open Tony Gonzalez after the play fake on the goal line.
So much has been made of all the hits that Matt Ryan has been taking these last couple of years, especially this year. Jackson breaks it to the outside, dragged down by Morgan Burnett, but not before he picks up 14 more yards up to the 35-yard line. And a good start today for Steven Jackson. 9 rushing attempts, 55 yards.
His biggest plays have been coming as he starts one side. The defense overflows, and he's been cutting it all the way across, back across the face of the defense.
Jackson might have been slowed down a lot of this year with that thigh injury, but he is running the ball well here these last couple of weeks. Ryan, good protection, and that one dropped by Jackson. You don't see Steven Jackson drop very many. Much has been made. We've talked a lot about all his rushing yards. He is also one dynamic receiver out of the backfield.
Brad Jones, you can see right here, he gets his hands underneath it. Oh, nope, it bounced. It bounced. Looked like he might have gotten underneath it. Remember, he thought he had one earlier that Jason Snelling snatched away. The ground took that one.
Second down and 10. They'll give it to Rodgers. He's up to the 37-yard line, and we check in once more from Los Angeles with Joel Klatt.
Well, it's not often that the weather elsewhere is worse than Green Bay. That's the case in Philadelphia, where Joique Bell goes in from 2 yards out, his 7th of the season. They didn't want to kick it, guys, so they go for 2. Stafford to Joique Bell. It's 8-0 Philadelphia. Back to Green Bay. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
Well, Joel, it all depends on the definition of worse weather. There's no doubt it is snowing in
Well, you talk about weather.
Philadelphia. There's no way it is colder in Philadelphia.
And this guy right here, I met this guy earlier. It's hard to believe. That guy weighs 145 pounds. That's what's called layers. Okay, up here. You learn to put layers on. He's really a scrawny guy I saw earlier.
Boy, all of our crew, our cameramen and women, those working along the sideline, bundled up. Well below 0 wind chill. Barely above 0 in real temperature. Third down for Ryan. And it's incomplete. Nick Perry coming off the edge from his outside linebacker position was there to get him. So now the Packers, who have 2 timeouts remaining, along with that 2-minute warning, going to receive this punt from Matt Bosher with a chance to put some more points on the board before halftime.
Bay's looking like they're going to come after it. They're moving these guys around.
And Jared Bush sneaking along the... Yep.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Well, Atlanta, with all of a sudden seeing that pressure off the edges, they're trying to make the call and then call the call off. They got caught trying to adjust to unexpected pressure on the punt team from the Green Bay Packers.
Well, I know we talked about it a lot, but every time you see a player, when they come off the field, they cannot get to an area close to those heaters that are blowing on the sideline fast enough. Great punt by Bosch. And a fair catch back to the 15 by Micah Hyde. 2:20 to play in the opening half.
Micah Hyde might have rethought this. The Gunners and the separation of the coverage team, maybe in better conditions, he might have thought about taking off on this thing, and I think he realized it's a missed opportunity right there. Yep, he's going, I should have taken this thing, because now when he looks and sees where everybody was, he realizes he could have done some damage.
So the 15-yard line is where this drive begins. And Flynn on first down, and in and out of the hands of Jarrett Boykin. Boykin, a college free agent a year ago, signed by Jacksonville. They kept him all of 4 days. Green Bay brought him in. He wound up playing in 10 games, 5 catches a year ago. But with all the injuries this year, put together a pretty nice season. 34 catches, 513 yards. Corliss, a tight end, up to the 22-yard line and brings up third down. And this will take us down to the 2-minute warning. Green Bay 2 timeouts remaining. Atlanta 14, the Packers 10. You're watching the NFL on Fox. 14-10, Atlanta in front. 2 minutes to play until halftime. A third down for the Packers from their own 21. 3rd and 3. Third down and a very long 3. They need to get to the 25, and that's exactly where Boykin makes a catch, and he is level. Let's send it back to a very important story to Joel Klatt in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Tom, the reigning MVP, Adrian Peterson. Scary moments from Minnesota. Adrian Peterson in the flat, writhing in pain on the sidelines, was taken away on a stretcher. We'll get more word to you when we get it.
Brandon Bostic with a big reception. And that will move the chains all the way up to the 45-yard line. Didn't see anybody call a timeout there, but the clock is stopped. He's able to get out of bounds, I beg your pardon, and now sliding is Flynn. So I would imagine the Packers use a timeout here. 1:24. And no, they're continuing to try to get everybody to the line of scrimmage.
Well, he wants to hold as many of those timeouts in his back pocket as he can, allowing those inside throws.
Well, they have burned a lot of time here. This is a good 25 seconds since Finn went sliding down the middle of the field, and complete good coverage by the rookie Warlow. Fox Sports Live coming up tonight, 11 Eastern. Jay and Dan will have all the highlights and reaction from Week 14 of the NFL. Everything going on with the BCS. Tonight on Fox Sports 1. Flynn. Nothing but green in front of him. And he dives to the 35-yard line. The ground calls the fumble, it looked like, from up here. And he is down at the 35-yard line.
He's just diving for extra yardage. There's the contact there, and the ball comes out after he is down.
Clock continues to run. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Flynn out of the shotgun. And nearly intercepted, or is it intercepted on a second tip ball, and racing down the sideline. And still on his feet is Weatherspoon. He's inside the 5, and that is a touchdown. It looked like it was deflected rather, twice.
I can't tell if it came off the hand or the foot of Warlow, excuse me. Looked like it was hitting the ground. They're going to have to take a look at this. Of course, they always do on change of possessions and scores. Right here, you see it tipped and right. Look, it kicked off of his foot, off of his right foot.
And it was deflected twice.
That just kicked up on it. They just popped it up like a setter in volleyball, spiking it up for Weatherspoon.
Right off the right foot. And into the arms of Weatherspoon, who was injured earlier. We wondered about his return. And he goes 71 yards for a touchdown. And now a point after away from an 11-point lead, and Weatherspoon is still down in the sideline. They're taking a look at him.
He's just telling Coach Smith, it's still cold. I know I ran all that way, but it's still cold. I don't have any breath left in me. What a return of events. Nice drive by Green Bay to finish out the half. Scramble around by Matt Flynn. Ball comes out, but he was clearly down, and then to get a pick like that.
You know, Brian, after the big run and the slide, and they have 2 timeouts. It's not like they didn't have 1 timeout. I'm sure some are saying, hey, you know, we got close to the red zone. Do we consider maybe using one of those timeouts there?
But the tempo offense has been working for them. We said before that they're trying to calm down the multiple packages of defensive coordinator Mike Nolan. Mike McCarthy going to stay with what's hot. What's the term he used? He used an old farm term. You know, you got to scratch where you itch. Meaning do what works. You know, go with what works. Continue on with what you're doing. He was definitely scratching there because that no huddle's been working for them pretty good in this first half.
First career touchdown for Sean Weatherspoon. It has been a very tough year for him. Laura Oakman mentioned it earlier. First round pick back in 2010, has missed 7 games this season. His 4th game back.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a touch.
Even Bill Levy sounds tired. Or sounds cold, I beg your pardon.
He can't get those lips working.
Almost wonder if Warlow wasn't one of those hacky sack guys. You know, you'd see around maybe a college campus back in his days in Delaware. That's exactly what that looked like. Just pop that thing off the top of his foot, right into the mitts of Weatherspoon, and it's a touchdown.
Well, to have the presence of mind to stick that foot out there,
yeah,
like it could do anything. You know, what are the odds there?
So now, a point after attempt by Matt Bryant is good. 71-yard interception return for a touchdown off his teammate's foot.
Bounces up on Kuhn. Hits the foot of Warlow. Bounces right now. He's looking for somebody please tackle me. Says I don't want to just pass out between here and the goal line. Boy, quick sequence of events. He's thinking about pitching it right there.
The big TJ Lang trying to get down there. He whiffed. And Weatherspoon to the end zone. From Kuhn to Warlow to Weatherspoon to Paydirt.
What do you call that in baseball? That's a 1, 3, 2, 5, 6. Well, you always.
Oh, come on now.
I'm not a baseball guy.
Come on, 6, 4, 3,
okay.
5, 4,
Should we
3.
start to number it there?
We could have done that.
Hey, shout out Mondu. My T-Zone. Pop, give me one up, baby.
He's excited. He's got his breath back.
That's a dangerous thing because this guy likes to talk. He's an animated young man.
.23 seconds remain until halftime. High from the goal line out across the 20 to the 25 and the 31-yard line. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt, what's coming up on the Visa halftime?
Well, it may be snow at the game you're watching, but it's another sunny day here in Los Angeles. And coming up on the Visa halftime, the Colts and Bengals jockey for playoff positioning in the AFC, and the Chiefs go for win number 10. So, guys, you know what? Despite the fact it looks sunny, it's going to struggle to make 60 today.
You'll be out there later tonight, Brian. Be able to enjoy that warm weather out in Los Angeles.
Thank goodness, because the alternative is to go home where that snow was outside Philly. I'm going to be standing there next to Kurt.
Baltimore Ravens leading Minnesota. That's a big one today for the Ravens. It's only a 7-3 game, and a big story there, of course, the injury to Adrian Peterson. He set up the screen. It looked like Lacey may have tripped over his own teammate, Josh Sitton. First drive of the game for Green Bay, you may remember, was kept alive on a penalty by middle linebacker Paul Warlow. Drive that should have ended right around midfield. It turned into an 18-play, 90-yard touchdown drive. They've been very, very quiet outside of that. They had a little something going on their last drive before the interception. Flynn rolling and just throws it away. 4 seconds remain until halftime. And the crowd now starting to give it to him a little bit.
Well, it's not like there's a lot of options for Green Bay. I mean, Scott Tolzien obviously was not effective when Matt Flynn came in.
So what's coming up on that Visa halftime? Today, another game in that AFC North being played today in Cincinnati. That is a huge game between the Bengals and the Indianapolis Colts.
Now you're talking about the 3rd and 4th seed.
Don't take anybody lightly, but that's the difference between playing Kansas City
huge
in the opening round and maybe a 500 team. That's the end of the first half. The Atlanta Falcons, a 3-win team with a 21-10 lead, and we now go to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles. The Visa halftime begins right now. Back to frigid Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We invite you to follow your favorite team all season long. Just go to iTunes.com/NFL. And how about in Coach Billick, our halftime adjustments?
Well, for Green Bay, you can't turn the ball over. That's why they're down by 10 with 2 turnovers. And then both teams need to maintain protection. They've held up pretty good for pass protection for their quarterbacks, and then somebody's going to have to find a big play down the field. As the game gets further, the field starts to deteriorate. You're going to need that big play to get back into this football game by way of Green Bay.
Packers will get the football to begin the second half. You may remember they won the coin toss and deferred to get it in this second stanza. Matt Ryan, 9 out of 13, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did not turn it over. Matt Flynn on 14 out of 20, 127 yards. And the 1 interception by Weatherspoon returned for a touchdown, 71 yards. John Kuhn from the 10-yard line, and he's up across the 32 to 31. Flynn sacked, fumbled the ball after the big hit from William Moore. That turned into a touchdown. And then the 2 touchdown passes by Matt Ryan, 1 to Tony Gonzalez. And then Weatherspoon off that kick by the rookie Warlow into his arms. 71 yards later, a touchdown. Now, Eddie Lacy, you may have seen as we were going to halftime, was shaken up on the final play of the opening half. He has not come out of the locker room. And James Starks is in the backfield, and on first down, he's back to the line of scrimmage. Some of the numbers from the opening half.
Well, both teams have stayed committed to the run and given it every shot. Obviously, the turnovers are the biggest difference in this game right now.
Those 2 turnovers leading to 14 Atlanta Falcons points.
False start, number 70, offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Well, this is not the way you want to come out of the locker room.
Now that pace, that rhythm that they had in the no huddle in the first half that gave Atlanta such a problem, obviously to come out and have that type of penalty now, and they don't seem to be wanting to do the same pace, going more for an orchestrated call out of the huddle. We'll see if they want to kick it back into no huddle once they get back into a decent down and distance.
Second down at 14. Well, you almost wonder if Jones didn't hear some footsteps right there. Mata was closing fast, but it looked like a catch it should have been made.
Zeke Mata was almost all over that as an interception. Would have been a pick 6, but the ball came up on him so quickly. Mata again, one of those rookies that they're looking at here on the Atlanta Falcons defense, trying to get a sense of just what they have going into next year.
And if you want this earlier, they had their starting strong safety, a Pro Bowler a year ago, and Thomas Deku injured very early in this game on the touchdown run by Eddie Lacy. 3rd and forever. And Miles White gets up 5 far shy of a first down. So it's 3 and out to begin the second half for the Green Bay Packers.
Well, you can see right here. Not quite sure what happened to him here, but just that little bit of a give right there, twisted. Wow. He did walk off though, and that is good, but I don't know that one, particularly under these circumstances. Unlikely he'll be back.
Short punt by Mastay. It'll bounce and take a favorable roll for the Packers down to the 21-yard line, and that's where Matt Ryan and company get the football for the first time here in the second half. They really slowed down Clay Matthews. 21-10 Atlanta in front.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Strong for all the roads ahead.
Atlanta leading 21-10. Falcons with the football for the first time here in the second half, and the way they started the game, they're putting it in the hands of Steven Jackson. Jackson 9 rushes in the first half, 55 yards. We were talking about Eddie Lacy a moment ago. How about it, Laura Oakman?
Well, Mike McCarthy said no surprise. The biggest key to the second half was establish that run game to keep it going. Eddie Lacy right now, the exact quote was, he's not in, he's not out. We're testing out that ankle, a huge pad job, a ton of tape on that right ankle. He is running up and down the sidelines right now, kind of cutting, kind of running, jogging on it, seeing what he can do with a few doctors and trainers around him. They are testing it right now.
All right, Laura, thank you very much. Second down, hit as he throws, and nearly intercepted by A.J. Hawk. Ryan, you've talked about how cold it is, and here is Laura Oakman, who makes her home out in California. But she has come prepared. That would be a good look for you.
Are you sure that's Laura?
All I see, bring it up.
All I see is a nose and a mouth there. I'm not sure. She's doing human work today. We complain about how cold it is, but we are in a booth.
Look at those guys. Third down and 7. Great protection, and now the pocket starts to collapse, and it's incomplete. So, like Green Bay, Atlanta's first possession of this second half is 3 and out.
We talked about how the protections need to hold up. They were very good in the first half. We talked about coming in the open, how they had struggled with offensive protection the last couple games. It was very good in the first half, beginning to be a little less so here early in the second.
Bosher on to punt it. Low snap, Bosher able to dig it out and hide a fair catch right at the 27-yard line. This is a critical game for Green Bay. Mike McCarthy has said, we've got to win out. They're down 11. Beginning to snow again here in Green Bay. They were calling for roughly anywhere from 3 to 5 inches before the end of the day today. Nowhere near that kind of accumulation yet. Big game for these Packers, and starts in relief of the injured Lacy. Good strong running up to the 33-yard line.
Well, Fox, tomorrow the future and past collide on an epic night of drama. First, it's the critically acclaimed new hit series Almost Human. Then an all-new Sleepy Hollow. A father risks everything for answers. It all starts tomorrow at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Well, you're even better in the cold.
I know, because my brain's frozen. I'm just reading the card. No ad-libbing.
Nothing more than a talking head. Making a start to now Flynn rolling right, looking down the field, and wide open is Jordy Nelson. And he's got it to the 22-yard line.
Well, we said Green Bay was going to need that big play. He's up here at the top. Matt Flynn is able to break, contain, get to the outside. It buys some time, a little nod, and then going vertical. Jordy Nelson coming up with the big play that the Packers needed to get back into this. Alford being fooled by the roll of Flynn and the nod outside shake by Jordy Nelson.
Jordy Nelson has more plays of 25 yards or more, or receptions than any other wide receiver in the NFL. And a big one there from Nelson. Back in the hands of Starks, who breaks it to the outside, turns the corner, dives forward to the 15.
You know, Jordy Nelson, this guy has he's worked his way up in the profession. This guy wasn't a high round draft choice. He's just one of those guys, comes in, does yeoman's work for so many years. Was a second-round pick, which is fairly high, but he wasn't a highly touted guy coming in. Just kind of a possession guy to begin with, but he has better speed. He's got the size, and obviously has become the go-to guy for the Packers now.
Flynn sacked all the way back And the 27-yard line by Jonathan Massaquoi. He's coming off his best game of the year last week.
Massaquoi starts outside and then loops back to the inside with a little move, able to just power rush and convert it on the inside to Matt Flynn. We talked about the protection being good in the first half, getting a little dicier here in the second half. That was a key sack for Atlanta.
Third down and 12 for the Packers. Flynn drops it off on a crossing pattern. Short of the first down is Brandon Bostic. And do you think about going for it here? And apparently not. Well, not liking that decision by Mike McCarthy, but you kick the field goal. You pull within a one-score game. Of course, a touchdown and a two-point conversion.
And that's the key. You're bringing it down to that one-score game. The competitor in you says, let's go for it, given our circumstances, but bringing it down to that one-score game this early in the third quarter is the right move.
33-yard field goal try for Crosby, who's already hit for 40 today, and that went right down the middle. So it is a one-score game. 21-13 Atlanta with 9:06 to play in the third quarter. 21-13, Atlanta in front, went 3 and out on their first drive in this second half. Tony Gonzalez trying to stay warm over there on the sideline like everybody else here at Lambeau Field. Rodgers has that one bounced twice and still able to turn it into a nice gain on the return all the way up to the 27-yard line. Well, we invite you to watch 30 minutes of live NFL games free right now through October or December the 29th, I beg your pardon. Call NFL to download now. After a gain of a little more than a yard. Matt Ryan started off red hot. 9 out of 10 those first 3 drives, couple of touchdowns, taking advantage of the 2 turnovers by Green Bay, but has missed on his last 5.
Well, that's a function of the protection we talked about. It's beginning to break down just a little bit. Steven Jackson limping off. This would be a big hit for them. We've not seen much of Jacquizz Rodgers so far this game.
We haven't seen much of Jacquizz Rodgers this season. He had a pretty good rookie year last year. He does have 42 catches out of the backfield, but a lot of those came over the first 6-7 weeks of the season. That one batted down by, looked like Johnny Jolly. Let's see if we can pick up on what may have happened. Well, you can figure that one out.
I'll let you handle that one.
It's not good. Hopefully he's going to be all right. Third down and 9, and Ryan completes a pass, but far short of the first down, finding Gonzalez up to the 34. So 2 drives for Atlanta here in the second half, and both times it's 3 and out.
And that's just the sequence Green Bay needed. Big play by Matt Flynn to Jordy Nelson to set up for a score. You kick off, the defense puts it on 3 and out. Now you're going to get the ball back.
Mike McCarthy made the comment earlier in the week after being embarrassed on Thanksgiving in Detroit to have any hopes in the playoffs. He felt like his team needed to win every game left on the schedule. And right now they're trailing 21-13. And here's Micah Hyde. And he's up to the 25-yard line. Pretty good field position after the defensive stop by Perry, Matthews, and the Packer defense. good to see Eddie Lacy back on the field for the Green Bay offense.
Yeah, they need him in this these final drives to give that punch. You can see the physicality here. This is just that ankle that he was limping off on this thing. Boy, this did not look good. He's been testing it this entire second half as he's come back out, and obviously feels good enough to go back in.
It's the first time he has checked back into the game. See, it's heavily taped up, that right ankle. We'll keep an eye on Lacy. And Flynn to throw it on first hand, and he is leveled immediately by Paul Warlow.
This is just a blown protection by the Green Bay Packers because he just shot right up the middle in the A-gap between the center and guard, and nobody even saw him, let alone put a hand on him.
This Green Bay Packers team, Green Bay and New England, are the only two teams in the NFL with 10 or more regular season wins each of the last 4 years. And here the Packers have gone a month and a half without a win after the injury to Aaron Rodgers. There's a first down catch made by Andrew Corliss, who's having a nice game. He's up to the 39-yard line.
That's twice on the inside again with the different looks that Atlanta's bringing. There's a big hole in between the linebackers and the safety Moore, allowing Corliss to get into that second level.
Lacy, his first carry since coming back into the game. He looked pretty healthy right there. Broke a couple of tackles and dives forward up to the 41.
Did good, tough physical cut and then transition into the power. He's still stamping on a little bit, testing it out, but it did look strong. The key is, does it begin to stiffen up as we get further into the game, given the conditions of the field as well? They need to keep him active both on and off the field if he's going to continue on.
After a gain of a yard, 2nd and 9, and Flynn sings it in there, and it's caught. And down at the 40-yard line is Jared Boykin. And that'll be a first down for Green Bay.
Boykin's all the way on the outside now, and again, it's just that second level in behind the linebackers. A simple in route, rolls in. Nice throw by Matt Flynn, stepping up into the pocket and waiting it out.
A 21-yard gain on the reception by Boykin, and now it is Lacy taking the pitch back to the inside, spins out of a tackle, and it's down to the 35-yard line. That's a gain of 6 on first down for Eddie Lacy, and we check in back in Los Angeles with Joel Klatt.
Tom, I take you to Philadelphia, where Jeremy Ross is going to go 58 yards, I think, because I don't know where he caught the ball. In the snow, the punt return for the touchdown. The Lions are up 14-0. Tom, Brian, and Laura, back to you.
Of course, don't bring up that name Jeremy Ross around here. The Packers had him earlier this year and just let him go. And he had a big part in that Lion win on Thanksgiving Day. You watch it here on Fox over his former team. Lacy, enough for a first down, and still trying to gain an extra yard or two inside the 30. Boy, is he a powerfully built, strong, tough young man.
Well, I think that ankle's okay. But look at the cut here. He gets to the outside, then he transitions into the power after making this guy miss, and just now, okay, I'm going to run some folks over, take one hit there, let another one go by. 2, 3, 4 guys now. He's still staying up.
Starks comes back in to replace Eddie Lacy. Packers down 8 on a 1st and 10 at the Atlanta 28-yard line and a gain of a yard. Choplo Bartu, another rookie starting linebacker out of Texas State, another college free agent. You ever been to Texas State University?
I have missed that one.
It's down in San Marcos, Texas, right in between San Antonio and Austin, Texas. figure one day on the recruiting trail back in your college days you made it down there. Flynn looking, and it is caught. That is a first down, and once more it's his tight end, Corliss. That is his 5th catch. That leads all Green Bay Packers today.
We've seen a couple times now where Matt Flynn will boot out away from the protection, trying to buy a little bit more time, as he does there to get the ball to Corliss. Anytime you start to feel that pressure coming on the inside, Matt Flynn, pretty good athlete, not unlike what he did down at LSU, gets outside the protection scheme, gets the completion down the field.
Lacey off the right side, inside the 10, down to the 9-yard line. You know, Corliss was a very highly thought of tight end at Penn State University, but he had some off the field issues. He came to the NFL as a 5th-round pick and then got injured and missed all of last season after suffering that injury at the end of the 2011 year. And you're backing up Jermichael Finley, now getting a chance to show what he can do. Got a chance to be a good player
at just the right time, because Finley was such a big part of this offense, and for Corliss to step up and fill that void has been invaluable for the Packers.
2nd down. Lacey out of the backfield. That's a nice tackle made by Corey Peters, the big defensive tackle, catching Lacey from behind.
That's just a good veteran move by Peters, recognizing looked a little too easy to get to the quarterback, snuffed out the screen and ran him down. Nice job. Just this is normally a mismatch, but he anticipated it so well. Bring down Eddie Lacy.
They can get a first down just inside the 3. So 3rd down and 4 for Green Bay. Trailing by 8 in the final minute of the 3rd quarter. To the end zone. Overthrown. So now 4th down and 4. And once more the drive will stall, and out comes Mason Crosby.
Well, remember, we said it was a 1-score differential. That's a touchdown and a 2-point conversion because they're down by 8. Now, obviously, this is the way to go, because now you're going to keep that 1 score. A touchdown will win it for you if indeed he can convert on the field goal.
Of course, with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, this was a team that you got inside the red zone. It was almost automatic. The Green Bay Packers were going to walk away with a touchdown. 25-yard field goal is good. 3rd of the day by Crosby. 21-16, Atlanta in front. Welcome back to downright cold Green Bay, Wisconsin. With all the pull you have around the NFL, why don't you have one of those for us up here in the booth?
Well,
you know everybody around here.
Yeah, this is Green Bay. Remember, I was in Minnesota. I asked for that, and they sent us up some iced tea.
Rodgers will be tackled right at the 20-yard line. Was the iced tea at least pretty good?
Yeah, it was, as a fact. It was frozen, but it was good. Boy, the NFC North, you can see right here, this thing is huddled together, and with who they have left to play, Detroit's playing Philly, Chicago's got to play Philly down the way as well. So this thing's a long way from being done, but it's going to be done if Green Bay cannot indeed pull this thing off today.
Well, it looks like Jay Cutler will not be playing. At least that was the last word. He will not be returning this weekend when the Dallas Cowboys come to town for a Monday night or tomorrow.
Well, that's not their problem in Chicago right now. It's defense.
Yeah. You saw the Bears last week. First down, throw, and catch. This time, Roddy White for a gain of 7. And we're going to be right in the thick of this NFC North. You and I will see the Chicago Bears each of the next 2 weeks. They will be in Cleveland next Sunday, and then they will play at Philadelphia, as you mentioned, the week following.
I'm looking for the team that can go on the road, the playoff team that can go on the road. We got Seattle at San Francisco, Carolina at New Orleans, New England at Baltimore. You know, that's the thing I'm looking for. The Chicago and Philly, Detroit at Philly. I'm looking for those big playoff caliber teams that can go on the road that we haven't seen so far this season.
That's the final play, the 3rd quarter. Fox NFL Sunday continues after a break from your local Fox station. A third quarter dominated, at least statistically, by the Green Bay Packers, yet twice having to settle on field goals. So we begin this fourth quarter at Lambeau with Atlanta in front of Green Bay 21-16.
Well, Atlanta stayed according to script and was pounding away the ball in the first half. Have not done as much in the second half. Of course, they haven't had it as much. Had their fair share of 3 and outs. I know Mike Smith would love to continue now with a first down to continue to pound away.
Ryan working out of the I formation. Looked like early movement.
Number 76 offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
As Lamar Holmes, who started too early, the Atlanta left tackle. Holmes, a second-year player. He was a backup player last year. Started this season at right tackle, took over at left tackle after the injury to Sam Baker, and they feel like he's making good progress.
And they're rolling him through with Ryan Schrader, again trying to find out. The offensive line is an area that the Atlanta Falcons will have to address in the offseason. They want to know to what degree.
Ryan thought about it. Ball is in the air. Is that a fumble or an incompleted pass? We are waiting. It is a fumble, and Green Bay's recovered. It looked like Mike Neal delivered the hit, and Johnny Jolly covers it up. What a huge play by the Green Bay defense.
We talked about the turnovers that the Green Bay Packers have suffered with 2 in the first half. Now they've at least evened it up with 1. There's no question this is a fumble. You can see after the play fake, he's scanning, tries to step up, and from behind didn't even realize it. He hadn't even started his throwing action. There's no question that that's a fumble here.
Boy, they are so excited to have Neal healthy. He is an extraordinarily talented player, but has had big injuries over the last 3 years. Lost 35 pounds during this offseason when they moved him from defensive end to an outside linebacker position. Just outside the 20, first down, Green Bay, a touchdown away from recapturing the lead. Flynn, catch made by Nelson. That's a gain of 8 on first down. Jordy Nelson with his day today for the second time in his career, eclipsing 1,000 receiving yards in a single season. Another time he did it back in 2011. He had to miss a number of games, injured, of course, last year. They pitch it to Lacy. First down to the 9.
Well, the hallmark of this Green Bay team, particularly with Aaron Rodgers, was the depth and capability of the receiving corps. You had Jermichael Finley, Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, Randall Cobb, of course, Johnson, and Nelson, and the fact that they're just down to Jones and not Johnson but Jones, but Jones and Nelson are the only 2 of that group. It was the depth of the receiving corps that made them so lethal. So to not have Aaron Rodgers and that receiving corps has been a double whammy.
Look at the running by Lacy. That ball came loose, but it trickled out of bounds. Now let's see where they spot it. Is it where Lacy went down or where it went out of bounds?
Well, no question the ball, let's see, he's down.
Yeah.
So the ball was down, so it's a moot point at that point. It did trickle back. They did maintain possession is the good news, but he was down by the time the ball came out.
And that's where they spotted, where the ball was when his hip.
You're exactly right, though. There's a whole lot of power in that man, particularly since he's on one wheel, or at least a wheel and a half.
And it is a touchdown to Andrew Corliss. And Green Bay takes a lead.
This is the kind of throw that are thrown to Jermichael Finley. Break him out from the formation, all the way to the outside. The marker's here killing me. He's all the way to the outside, looking for the one-on-one matchup at the bottom of your screen. Back shoulder throw to the big man on the outside. Love the matchup. I'm not real good at it. My fingers are frozen, man. Give me a break on the telestrator. I went through about 5 of these settings to find the right one. At least I was in the general area.
You were right on it. I'll tell you what. Nobody better on the telestrator at sub-0 degree temperature than one Brian Billick. They're going for 2. Jump ball, and it's overthrown in the corner of the end zone to James Jones. So it is a 1-point lead. Brian's going to telestrate all this when we come back. It began with the takeaway on the hit by Neal. A touchdown catch. I'm going to tell you what. Matt Flynn very excited. His Packers have the lead.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's never stop improving. By Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. And by KFC, the official sponsor of Couchgating. KFC plus football equals Couchgating.
Where ice dancing started officially here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. What a day it has been for Andrew Quarles. Getting a chance to play after the injury to Jermichael Finley. 6 catches. And that touchdown a moment ago. Rodgers up to the 30-yard line. The Packers have taken the lead. A career day for Andrew Quarles. Atlanta looking for something, anything from a production standpoint offensively here in the second half. We'll go back and let you take a look at what they have done so far offensively here in the second half after scoring 21 points in the first half. 5 plays, punt, 3 and out twice. Then the fumble by Matt Ryan, which leads to the go-ahead score for Green Bay.
And I talked about their need to keep their rhythm and run the ball, but when you're 3 and out, 4 and out, 5 and out, you don't have time to get the run going. You don't have enough opportunities to stay balanced.
Denied first down yardage, 3rd down and 2 coming up. Let's check in quickly with Kurt Menefee back in Los Angeles.
Well, some bad news for the New England Patriots. Rob Gronkowski, you see hit right there on the right knee. Lower leg injury, not quite sure whether it's the knee or the leg. He has been carted off the field, is in the locker room, and his Patriots are down 12-0, with things not looking good for Gronk and company. Tom, Brian, Laura?
That is one ugly hit. Down the yard. Extra tight end, extra offensive lineman, and they give it to Steven Jackson, and he has enough for a first down. Up to the 42-yard line to keep this drive alive. 10.5 to go. Green Bay leads by a single point. And Philadelphia, meanwhile, is drawn within 2 of Detroit with the football. Eagles trailing 14-12, and you know all Packer fans are dialed in on that score. Forever to throw, and coming back to get it is Harry Douglas, and that is a catch. First time we've called his name today. In the midst of a breakout season after the injury in week 5 to Julio Jones, already career highs, closing in on 1,000 receiving yards is Harry Douglas this year.
Well, he had been primarily a slot receiver, but now he's called on to be on the outside. That was a brilliant move on his part. Double move down the field, wasn't there. Peeled back, gave Matt Ryan a target to come back to.
Play to Jackson. He's to the 39-yard line. Matt Ryan last week delivered the 23rd game-winning drive of his career in that 34-31 overtime win over Buffalo. And Now trying to march Atlanta down the field, trailing by a single point with 9:12 to go in Green Bay. Douglas again in that little crossing pattern. That'll pick up maybe 2. So another big third down coming up now for this Atlanta offense and this Green Bay defense.
And it'll be interesting for me to see if they want to work this as a 4-down territory. Again, with the weather, a big heavy ball, their comfort zone in a field goal versus maybe going for it on 4th down if they don't get it here.
Jackson, that extra lead, enough, it appears, for a first down. That it is.
We're talking about Jackson's 8,000+ yard seasons. Tell you what, you forget, because of what happened in St. Louis in all those years, just how big and powerful and explosive this guy is. We're seeing today why Atlanta coveted having a player like Steven Jackson.
It's 3 weeks in a row now since getting all the way back to good health after that thigh injury in the 2nd game of the year. And looking for Roddy White. It's slightly overthrown, and White looking for a flag, which is not thrown. The coverage by Sam Shields.
This was a slow developing play, and you can see down, he just kind of gets with a little out, move and go. I think we're fine here. He just got kind of out of sequence, couldn't quite get into his stride as the ball faded away to the outside.
Second down and 10, 9th play of this drive. Atlanta trails by a single point. Snelling is leveled by Jolly.
Great defense starts from the inside out. Jolly did a great job of just blowing through that A gap just outside the center for a loss.
They set up the screen. The blitz was on. Perfect call, but they can't execute the play. So now on a 4th down and 12 with under 7 minutes. They are going to send out the field goal kicker, Matt Bryant, for what will be right around a 50-yard, maybe a 51, 52-yard field goal try.
This is a heavy, thick ball to kick this distance.
Well, he's been very good in cold weather in his career as Bryant. And that one is no good. Short. Green Bay's 1-point lead by this much still holds.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Domino's. Oh, yes, we did.
The Atlanta Falcons failing a chance to take the lead. Just short on that 53-yard field goal try was Matt Bryant. So now Green Bay with the ball, 6:42 to go, and this drive starts from their own 42-yard line. Flynn looking around, and he will dive up to the 45-yard line, a gain of 3. Fox UFC Saturday returns next weekend. Demetrius Johnson defending his World Flyweight Championship against Joseph Benavidez. That'll be live on Fox. Our coverage begins Saturday 8 Eastern, only on Fox. Much better day today for Matt Flynn. And he had his first start on Thanksgiving Day against Detroit. Of course, he's had much better pass protection today. Third down coming up, big down. Let's quickly check in with Kurt Menefee back in Los Angeles.
Earlier this season, the Packers cut returner Jeremy Ross. The Lions say thank you. Earlier against Philadelphia, he had a 58-yard punt return for a touchdown. This is a 98-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. They missed the extra point in the snow, but the Lions still have the lead 20-14 in the fourth. Tom and Brian.
That was right after Philadelphia had tied the game. All right, Kurt, thank you very much. Third down pass is complete right at the 50-yard line, but that's not enough for a first down. So the Packers will be forced to punt 3 and out after starting with very good field position on that drive.
Big sequence for Atlanta. Had the Packers been able to move into field goal position, a simple field goal would have made it a one-score game instead of a field goal game. Now, obviously, with Atlanta getting the ball back down by 1, totally different scenario.
Mascade punts it away, and it will trickle out of bounds inside the 20, right at the 17-yard line. Here the Falcons rally. 4:38 to go. Green Bay in front by a point. 22-21. Green Bay in front. Atlanta with the ball. All 3 timeouts and 4:38 to play. From their own 17-yard line.
This place is rocking now.
Blitz coming. They set up the screen to Rodgers. And that is a gain of 15 on first down. That's the second time they have caught Green Bay in a blitz. The last time they couldn't connect on the pass.
Nice call by Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator. You're exactly right. Had they connected on that quick outside screen with the pressure by Green Bay, that thing would have gouged them. Here, anticipating the same pressure from Dom Capers and the Packers.
A short while ago about Matt Ryan's 23 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or later. He got number 23 last week in that overtime win over Buffalo. And how about this? You think of all the great quarterbacks in the NFL since Ryan came in the league in 2008. More game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime than any other.
Yeah, and why this franchise, since he has come in 2008, has been so good. Obviously, this is an off year. The injuries are well documented, but this has been a good quarterback and a good franchise since he's come to them.
Ryan has won more games in his first 5 seasons than any quarterback in NFL history. Second down, steps up, delivers a beautiful throw to midfield. Reception made by Tony Gonzalez. And injured on the play, it looks like Brad Jones is slow to get up. He hasn't gotten up. There is a penalty flag that we just noticed.
Number 59 of the offense. Penalty is declined. First down.
He must have been holding on the defense, number 59. Because Atlanta declines the penalty after the first down completion.
Well, it's just inside here. And you can see he just tackles him. He just mugs Tony Gonzalez.
Nice job of the telestrator there.
Very quick. Well, Aaron Rodgers, his ability to come back, he had to check first off. The arm strength is fine. The range of motion is fine. It's the last one, the scan. This is strictly a doctor's decision. Aaron Rodgers says he's fine. Mike McCarthy says he looks fine, but until that bone has calcified to the degree that the doctors can release him, he will not be back.
When he comes back, where will these Packers be? Right now, the Packers with a 1-point lead, 3.5 to go. Here's Kurt Menefee back in Los Angeles.
Well, just a reminder that as soon as you guys are done, we'll get you to America's Game of the Week. Most of you will see the 49ers led by Colin Kaepernick against Russell Wilson and those Seattle Seahawks. That's after your game is finished in Green Bay, Tom.
All right, Kurt, thank you. 2nd down and 6. Matt Ryan looking around. Hit as he throws. Finds Jackson out of the backfield. And that is a 1st down to the 38-yard line. And that is, it's like Johnny Jolly who's down. A couple of Packers are injured. Jamari Lattimore, 57, limping, and Jolly just now gets up. And then they run into each other. Have stayed with it through temperatures, wind chill well below 0 here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And perhaps their season, their playoff aspirations hang in the very balance of this Atlanta drive. Green Bay in front by 1 on 1st down. It's Rodgers. And that'll be a gain of maybe a yard. Now remember, they had Matt Bryant, who has been a very good long distance kicker in his career. He's hit from 53 this year. He's been a very good cold weather kicker in his career. 6 of his 10 from 40 and beyond have come when the temperature is down under 40 degrees. Ryan able to get rid of it before he was sacked. So it brings up 3rd down. But Bryant on that 52-yard field goal earlier in this 4th quarter was just short.
Well, Dom Capers dialed up a DB blitz. Micah Hyde came from the outside, recognizing you can't sit passive in this situation, not with Matt Ryan being as good as he is. They've got to continue to put pressure on him, make him get the ball out quickly.
Call a timeout. Mike Smith running up and down that sideline.
Their first charge, timeout.
As that play clock could run under 5. I mean, make no mistake about it. This has not been the kind of year Mike Smith and the Falcons nor their fans envisioned. Coming off a trip to the NFC Championship game last year, losing in heartbreak fashion to the San Francisco 49ers. But this has been among the best teams in the NFL over the last 5 years, and clearly they know a lot about winning, and they have a lot of pride. And these final 4 games, they're going to give it everything they have, no matter who they play or where they play.
It's hard to keep that perspective sometimes in a disappointing season. But they got the 4th most wins in the NFL since 2008, Tom. That's pretty good. And they've got a great franchise quarterback in Matt Ryan. They'll build from this. We already talked about them playing a lot of young players to see exactly how they're going to fare going into next year.
They're down at 9. Blitz coming, and there is a dump off to Rodgers. He is short of the 1st down. He's in the 33. This would be right at a 50 or 51-yard field goal try if they elect to make that decision here in the 2-minute warning. And Mike Smith will have a couple of minutes to think it over. Big decision for Mike Smith when we return.
Atlanta's going for it on 4th down. Tried to field goal the last time, figured it's too far at 52 yards the last time where it was just short. That's why they're going for it on 4th down.
5-man rush, Ryan, and juggled and dropped. Gonzalez nearly had it. Kept trying to find the handle, but could never stick a fork in it.
Well, if you're going to go to somebody, you're going to go to that future Hall of Famer. The ball just a little bit behind. Bush all over it. I don't know that it really impacted it, but Tony Gonzalez could not find the handle to convert on the 4th down to give him a chance.
This game is not over. There's a minute 55 to play. Atlanta has 2 timeouts left. They need their defense to make a play. The Packers' Jared Bush, infrequently used in the secondary this year, in coverage with a future Hall of Famer, and breaks up the pass attempted by Ryan.
Well, you're going to see run after run to draw down the clock and force Atlanta to use those timeouts.
Lacey will get the football, staying in bounds. And he is tackled under the 34-yard line. Gain of a yard. Timeout immediately, Atlanta. 1 left for the Falcons.
Well, it's a calculated risk by Mike Smith, but he had tried the field goal before at the same distance. Again, this weather, it's a heavy, very thick ball. Decided to go for it on 4th down, going to his best player, Tony Gonzalez. The NFC North.
Look at Philadelphia. Eagles rallying late with a 4th quarter lead. Chicago will play Dallas at Soldier Field tomorrow night. I'm sure it'll be very cozy at Soldier Field tomorrow night as well.
Well, remember, this game was originally going to be played tonight. No, thank you. That would have been a bit chilly for me.
This is a 2nd down and 9. Again, Lacey in the backfield. Offset is Kuhn. They put it in the hands of Lacey and bottled up. That's a nice play coming down the line by Corey Peters. And another timeout. So that play takes 5 seconds. It is the final timeout for Atlanta. So the Packers run another play. Brian, the decision becomes, as Philadelphia has increased that lead now to 8 in the 4th quarter. Do you trust Matt Flynn enough here with a minute 42 left on a 3rd down and 9 to put it in the air?
Well, it's not a matter of trusting Matt Flynn. I mean, it's a matter of, do you trust your team? Do you trust your defense? Do you play with the odds? Clearly, throwing the ball here, if you can get a 1st down, then the game's over. Because you're inside of 2 minutes, you can literally take a knee at that point. Or do you rely on your defense? You punt it, take a chance with the defense. Matt Ryan, who's known for 4th quarter comebacks, I go ahead and let him throw it.
They're going to run it. Lacey trying to turn the corner, and a nice tackle made by O.C. Umenyiora, a longtime New York Giant. So another 30 seconds. This will wind it down to under a minute before the play clock expires. So the Packers will punt it away. They have Robert McLean standing back. He is not their regular punt return man. See the play clock down to 4, 3. They snap it. And a good punt. Really good punt. And all the way to the 1, picked up. It looked like a Falcon may have touched that ball, forcing McLean, or did he just decide to pick it up himself? Well, somebody had to have touched this ball. Or did everybody whiff on it? 44 seconds remain.
The previous play is under review.
Well, they're going to take a look at exactly what happened. I think they want to know if a Packer touched the ball, which would down the ball immediately. Did that happen, or did everybody just simply miss and McLean decided to pick it up and try and return it?
Looked like it just gets kicked by the foot.
I don't think anybody touched it.
You're going to see it right here, right there. It looked like his left foot. I don't know. You can't say definitively, that's for sure. that indeed he touched it. We'll see if this angle tells it. Ball's not going anywhere. If they could have seen his right. No, I don't believe anybody touched it.
Well, Mike Pereira back in our studios in Los Angeles. Mike, I would imagine they are looking at, we just suspected what they would be looking at to see if a Packer touched the ball. Is that correct?
Well, they're looking to see if he touched the ball while he was touching the goal line, because if that's the case, then it would make it a touchback and the ball would go out to the 20. But I don't think you can see for sure here as you're watching the play. I think it's a whiff. I don't think he touches it, period. But if they were to really did touch it and was touching the goal line, then it would be a touchback.
While we are still waiting, this under booth review. A 22-21 Green Bay lead. We take a look one more
on
time.
the field stands.
And the ruling on the field stand, so that's that. No timeouts. Ball at the 9-yard line. And you figure you got to get probably 60 yards to give yourself a chance. And what has been a season-long field goal for Matt Bryant of 53 yards. Matt Ryan dumps it off to Rodgers, and he gets 12 of those yards. Clock continues to run. Pepsi game break. Kurt, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league. Fox Sports ticker up to the second stats. That's immediately following this game. Ryan throws to the corner. What a throw and a catch made by Roddy White. So they have picked up 33 yards on the first 2 plays of this drive. They need at least another 25 to give them a shot.
And those deep outside corner routes are the signature Matt Ryan throws in this situation.
Incomplete. Clock stops with 17 seconds remaining. First time Matt Ryan has eclipsed 200 passing yards in a game against the Green Bay Packers. Of course, one of those games had devastating playoff loss. The year Green Bay won a Super Bowl, that 2010 year. Owner Arthur Blank hoping that his prize quarterback can rally the team for a second straight week. 17 seconds to go. Ryan in and out of the hands of Harry Douglas. A perfectly thrown ball by Matt Ryan.
They just cleared it out on the outside with Roddy White. Douglas clearly had possession of the ball, should have had possession of the ball. Beautifully thrown ball to the outside. Matt Ryan knows that's a missed opportunity.
Packers have 7 defensive backs in the game. 11 seconds remain. Looked like the Packers had too many men on the field. Couldn't hear the audio there from Bill Levy, our referee. Or did they signal for a timeout?
Well, it was a good call by a timeout by Mike McCarthy. Keep in mind now, you can have too many men in the huddle, but you can't have too many defensive players on the field at a given time until the ball is snapped.
Our game today produced by Bob Stenner, directed by Greg Scopatoni, our technical producer Bob Muller, replay producer Mike Titleman, our associate director Yvonne Wagner, our broadcast associate Jordan Wolf. Our spotter Scott Snyder, stats crew Tom Barbary up here in the booth, Eric Norton, Mike Eldridge, and a very happy birthday to our main man, Mr. David Strum. 11 seconds left. Ball at the 43-yard line. 27 yards to give you a better than average shot. And it is intercepted with 4 seconds remaining by Jared Bush. So the Green Bay Packers playoff hopes stay alive.
Remember, it was Jared Bush that broke up the pass to Tony Gonzalez on the 4th down play on the previous series. Bush coming up large just in here. The bottom of the screen peels off. Obviously, Matt Ryan just trying to make something happen. Going to Harry Douglas on the exact same pass that he had dropped the previous play.
We talked about how good Green Bay has been on their home turf in December and January. They're 1 snap away from putting this one officially to rest, and that it is a win. And look at the excitement from Matt Flynn after the humiliating loss on Thanksgiving in Detroit. His Packer team back at 500, and who knows if Aaron Rodgers is back at quarterback next week. Let's go to the Pepsi game. Here's Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.